Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Most Excellent 80s Movies Podcast. Want to skip those ads and get early access? Become a member at truestory.fm/join and discover all the other great perks that come with it. And welcome to the Most Excellent 80s Movies Podcast. It's the podcast where a filmmaker, a comedian, and their fabulous guests escape into the world of the movies from the 1980s that we love or might have missed with these our modern grown-up eyes. And today we're talking about Little Monsters, a movie selection from 1989 about which the Google overview says Brian, played by Fred Savage, isn't scared of the monster living under the bed. On the contrary, when he gets to know the wild-eyed boogeyman, Maurice, played by Howie Mandel, the pair become fast friends. During the night, Maurice takes his young charge into the netherworld of monsters, where they have a great time making mischief in the lives of sleeping children. But Brian's opinion of Maurice and his freewheeling lifestyle changes when he discovers that he himself is being turned into a monster. And here comes the trailer.
Ever wonder why kids get blamed for everything just because their parents can't explain it?
Hey, I didn't do anything.
You did, mister. The reason's right under your bed.
Hey, bud, the name's Maurice, and I'll catch you later. What goes on down there is every kid's fantasy. It's magic. Right? No teachers, no rules, no homework. And the best part is, you don't see any parents telling the kids what they can't eat. We're the reason kids get locked in the rooms. We're the reason brothers hate their sisters. We're also the reason that parents send their kids back to camp.
Little Monster. Fred Savage, Howie Mandel. They act up when the sun goes down.
I don't understand why the voice is supposed to sound like the Monster Mash guy. The voice on the trailer is like, they did the Monster Mash.
It's what kids could really connect to.
Yes, the kids love the Monster Mash.
1930s Bela Lugosi.
Yes, that's what they love. I'm Krissy, Lenz, one of the directors at the Neighborhood Comedy Theater in downtown Mesa, Arizona. And with me, as always, is
Nathan Blackwell, independent filmmaker with Squishy Studios.
And joining us today is a performer, a teacher, a sketch artist, a sketch comedy artist, not a sketch visual artist, but an all-around all-star of the Neighborhood Comedy Theater, Jenna Jacobsen.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.
I'm so excited. Yeah, so of the three of us, I'm the only one who has seen this movie before, which was a shock to me.
I've been seeing the VHS cover art for decades, or at least I did when there were video stores. Like, this was one of those boxes that I would always, like, I was aware of, but never, like, you know, it's like I was never into the slightly scary, even though I loved Beetlejuice. I don't know. I'm sure there were reasons, political reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
just missed it.
What's funny is, Nathan, I know that phenomenon you're talking about, like seeing the VHS and Blockbuster, like when you make your
Overdrive too. Yeah.
For me, the big one that always stands out is Gummo. Seeing the Gummo box, Anyway, this one never got play in my house, and I think I know why. It might be because it was, as my mom would call, a little fresh. It's a little fresh for kids.
Yes. I think so. It's all about kids misbehaving and getting into trouble and being little hellions, and you really have no sympathy for the kids in this movie. They are little shits.
It turned out, I mean, seeing the trailer, it looks like one of these like movies like Beetlejuice or one of these kind of like scary kids movies. But yeah, it's kind of gross.
Mm-hmm.
It is. It's full of gross out humor, but I think it is trying so hard to be Beetlejuice.
Yeah, and that was just like a year ago. So and I don't remember Beetlejuice being a big box office success, but I think a lot of the people who dug it really dug it.
Yeah, and I think they were just like, what if we did Beetlejuice for kids? What would that look like?
When did Beetlejuice come out?
Kids like Beetlejuice more.
Yeah, it turns out. Let me look it up.
I think
That's another one I've never seen.
Well, that one I could recommend.
Fresh.
Yeah.
1988 is Beetlejuice. Yeah, so this movie starts in a very sad place. The parents and the kids have just moved to a new town, and while the parents are up at night having a terrible argument, Fred Savage, who is the oldest of the two Savage brothers, who are the sons of Daniel Stern, who is the dad, and the mom, makes himself a peanut butter and onion sandwich, which raw onion too.
Yeah, not even just like a few like loose ringlets. It was like layer and layer of full cut.
Thing.
Yeah,
yeah. Like they gotta keep white onions in the house so that he can have his peanut butter and onion sandwiches.
It's probably one of those things that what they should have done is that like his dad does something similar, and he's just trying to be like a man. Like there are things that like little boys will do. Is like, oh, this is what a man does. He drinks V8 in the morning or something like that. It's like, oh, I'm gonna wear my suit walking around all weekend or whatever. Like something that they want to feel like they're a grown up.
Yeah, that would make a lot more sense. But no, the mom even says, you're the only person in the house that eats peanut butter and onion sandwiches. Mm-hmm. Which, who introduced him to that then, parents? Like, where did he get that idea?
And how many kids do you think tried that after seeing this movie?
Oh, hopefully millions.
And then just felt
less.
Maybe less than millions, but I hope whoever tried it felt like instantly betrayed by Fred Savage.
Yeah, he let me down.
I felt instantly betrayed by Fred Savage, strangely enough, by this movie. And when I say that this movie is gross, it's not like there's movies like, you think about like gross out movies. It's kind of, you don't get the fun and the punch from the gross out, like you might in some other movies. It's kind of like secondhand gross,
It's like the kind of gross where when little kids get together and they try and make the grossest drink and try and make somebody drink it. Did you guys ever do that when you were kids?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nathan is just
no.
looking bewildered. Yeah. No. That's the kind of gross out humor that it is. So the little brother, who is Fred Savage's real little brother, Ben Savage, is crying out that there's monsters in his room. And of course, the parents come to soothe him. And the mom says, once you realize that they don't exist, poof, they disappear. That's real power. And I was like, yeah, that's true. That's a really good lesson, Mom. That's the best parenting in the whole movie right there.
Doesn't come back. Doesn't come back.
Yeah, she also says they're probably more afraid of you than you are of them, which feels like is that like kind of where Monsters Inc. came from?
Yeah. Inspiration.
I mean, there's some people who accuse because Monsters Inc. is very similar. At least it deals with like the monsters under the bed and them having their own world. But I don't feel like they're. I mean, it's like it's like low hanging fruit in terms of concepts. Like it's something that's very much in. It's like making another Bigfoot story. It's like it's already in the popular consciousness. If you had monsters under the bed, where would it naturally go? You know.
Yeah.
I guess my only complaint is that I never really got a good grasp of the rules. Like they were always they were giving us rules, but I never got a really firm grasp on why the creatures were doing what they did, why the monsters were always doing what they did, you know.
Why were they trying to lure and capture children? Because it seemed at first that Maurice was like bummed out to be captured and got punished for being captured by growing the horns. So they grow more monstrous, and they don't want to be monstrous, so they grow more monstrous the worse they do as monsters. But
Oh, okay. I thought
it
that
didn't.
was like the light did that to him.
I think it was partially the light, but it seemed like the hunch on the hunchback guy was also a punishment.
Oh, okay.
I will fully admit that some of my comprehension of this movie is a little checkered, because this is one of those classic movies that you go into the kitchen to get something to eat, but you don't pause the movie.
Oh, okay. That's a
So
harsh review, Nathan.
if there are gaps in our in my, perhaps I don't want to speak for everyone else, in my understanding of the film, it's maybe because of that.
Well, no, Nathan, I'm on. Okay, I'm glad that you said that you weren't quite
You're
sure of
on
how the
team
rules
go into
work.
the kitchen.
Yes, although I actually watched it twice because I was like, how do I not fully understand this movie after watching it once? I felt a little ashamed of myself. I was like, is it really that complicated? And I do think that they didn't. I think they didn't quite flesh it out really. And yeah, and there were definitely a couple times where I was like, yeah, I probably like looked at my phone for a second, and then I looked up and I'm like, wait, what just happened? Did I miss something?
Who are these guys? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think some of the problem is that you can tell, like, they are totally going for big swings. Like they're trying to create a lot of interesting creatures and characters and environments, and they're really doing it on a shoestring budget, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's tough how much they try to do, and you can just see how fast they probably had to shoot because of how poorly lit so many scenes are. Like I'm struggling to see people's faces and to kind of get the punch of a certain moment. Also because like Howie Mandel is like, he's like playing it like theater. He's running the whole room. He's bouncing all over the place rather than standing at any particular place that we can really, that he lands on his lighting.
Mm-hmm.
Like Jim Carrey would say, not literally, this is made up, but like you went too big, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Howie Mandel in this movie, he felt like me. I don't want to accuse him of anything, but he felt like he was playing someone that was on a lot of cocaine. Like, just a coked out 80s punk from like the East Village in New York. Like, just like, settle down, man. Well, like, all right, it's 3 a.m. We're all getting ready to go to bed, and he's like freaking out.
Yeah. But for kids.
Yeah, but for kids.
For kids.
For kids. Yeah. It's his humor is all for kids. It's a gross out kid humor. So there's a bully and there's a cute girl. The bully is Devin Rattray, who plays Buzz in Home Alone. Just to give you a mental example.
That was very exciting when Buzz came on screen.
Yeah. Buzz! But Buzz is a very mean bully. But the brother is also a bully. Like Fred Savage is a bully. He's a little shit. At no point did I ever like sympathize with him. And when I was a kid and I watched this, because I watched this a bunch as a kid, unlike the pair of you, I was like, yeah, I'm on his side. Parents suck. I hate my little brother. I get it. And now that I'm an adult, I'm like, oh God, you are a little monster. I would hope that you go under your bed and don't come back out. My God, he's irredeemable.
Well, that was what was so interesting to me, like about it. His character was so the beginning of the movie is he's getting accused of things that he didn't do, right? Like, and and so like you're kind of on his side. He's like, well, he didn't do them. Like, that would be frustrating, being accused of those things. He doesn't. He just seems to be like he's confident and he'll talk back, but he doesn't seem to be a prankster himself.
Right.
But then when he goes down with the monsters and he's like coming up under other people's beds and he's fully on board with the pranks. But previous to that, he was indignant that anyone would ever think that he would do that or anything like that. So I didn't quite understand, like, does he want to do pranks?
Yeah, I felt like he's in a middle, he's kind of in this middle road. You know, like I felt it would have been a lot more satisfying if he was a problem kid. And he's just encouraged even more, but but then then he's seeing how people are getting hurt and he is effectively learning the lesson to kind of grow up and not be a jerk, or you could have gone the other way where he is afraid of doing anything to get in trouble, and then he's brought along kind of like Pinocchio and with the rough kids, and he's having a lot of fun breaking things, but then again the regrets and the learning lesson, but instead he's kind of in this middle ground to where he's a bit of a shit.
Yeah.
And he kind of learns some things, but there's not like a huge arc, and then who knows what got changed in terms of the story and things like that. But I do kind of feel like I would have liked to had seen, because the parents are going, and eventually they separate in the middle of the movie. I would have liked to see that all of this was a little more of a, I mean, maybe that's too E.T. It was a little more of a reaction of the parents' divorce or breaking up,
That would have made it too meaningful. Yeah. There's no meaning here. He doesn't ever really learn a lesson. He just goes from indignant that his life is being ruined to thrilled to ruin other people's lives.
Yeah. I mean, especially, like, even with the bike, even before the monster thing, he gets accused of leaving his bike out and he's all upset. And then he immediately runs onto the bus and accuses his brother of leaving his bike out. It's like, dude, this is, you're perpetuating the cycle of abuse, man.
Yeah.
No.
He throws his little brother's lunch out the window.
Yeah.
And then he gets upset. Yeah, and he hits the bully, and then he gets upset that he gets bullied.
Yeah. That bully was justified in his first
he deserves a bullying
session. Yeah. He does. He hit that kid in the face with his gross mustardy baloney. It was terrible. But the pranks they play, so he traps Maurice. Basically, he dares his brother that he could sleep in his room. And the first night he gets freaked out and chickens out. The second night he sets all these traps. He saws the legs off the bed, which, like, he's allowed to use saws. He's grounded and everything, but he has access to hand saws, Mom and Dad.
It was a different time.
It was 1989. And so he traps Maurice the monster, and they go into the underworld together, where that's mostly what we see in the trailer. Not only do they go up under other kids' beds and, like, put chocolate all over their houses and peanut butter on the headsets of their phones and paint all over the place, like, sort of gross things.
But then they also put a like a roller skate on the stairs. Like, that is murder.
Yeah, and cover it with a shirt. Yep. They do all these bad things, but they also, like, they play baseball like it's a rage room with people's fine china and crystal and stuff like that. And they eat smorgasbords of unhealthy food like cheeseburgers and Twinkies and stuff like that. So it's supposed to be like every kid's dream come true. So that was my question, which is like, are they supposed to be enticing these kids to come under the bed and become monsters with them? Because it didn't seem like that was the case. It seemed like Maurice was sort of going rogue by bringing the
Mm-hmm.
kid underneath. But if all the monsters were at one time children,
Well, okay. So my thought is, I didn't get the idea that they were supposed to or not supposed to be one way or the other. I think it was just like,
mhm,
yeah, if you meet a cool kid, you can show him our world, which is why I was confused about what started
Uh-huh.
happening at the so yeah, because all the monsters were themselves once kids that got trapped under there, right? So
right?
and then it seems like Maurice was being punished at the end by like Snick and Boy were like getting mad. They're like, we almost had him and you let him
Mm-hmm.
go. So it's like, yeah, I don't know. That my impression, it's only if I
Yeah,
think about it, then maybe they do. There was nothing
it
that really seemed like they did.
it feels like something got changed in the script or cut out of the editing room. It feels like there
Mhm.
was more explanation that all the monsters used to be kids, and like the main monster who we don't meet until like the last 15 minutes of the movie, um, is trying to recruit more monsters or something like that. Like that, just a little more clarity of it being kind of like Peter Pan and the Lost Boys. It's
Mhm.
like this, like the meaning behind it. Like we can just be kids and we can do what we want, like the Hellion aspect of it.
Yeah.
Um,
But that doesn't make sense either, because when they introduce the character of Boy, who's played by Frank Whaley, uh they're like, Boy wants Fred Savage to play with. And it's like, well, you've never mentioned that before.
Yeah.
You
mhm.
Yeah.
never did it seem like you were trying to purposely lure a child down in. When they kidnap the little brother, which is what happens at the very end of the movie, in order to try and get Fred Savage, they kidnap Ben Savage. And it seems more like that's what monsters would do: kidnap little kids and have them turn into little monsters.
Right, right.
Yeah, and that's the easiest way to do it. Just don't let them leave.
Snatch them, yeah, just snatch
Hmm.
them from under the bed. Uh, but that's not the case either.
Well, did Boy want Fred Savage because Fred Savage seemed like uniquely in tune with the world? Like he was a kid that got it. Like he was able to like get himself down there without the help of monsters, right? So like, it's like maybe it's like, hey, this guy gets it.
Mm.
Like he's part of. That's why he wanted him
Yeah,
to
he was
stay down
almost kind
there.
of like offering. It's like one day, perhaps you will also gain power too. Maybe you'll replace me or something along those lines. Like he saw
Mhm.
promise in him. Um, but yeah, and it's tough because we really had his minion. What's his name? The guy with the
Snick.
hunchback. Yeah,
Snick, yeah.
really, who we thought was the main bad guy up until kind of the end.
Right.
And then when
Right,
it's like,
right,
oh,
right.
you've got a boss. Oh, okay. Let's talk to your manager.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. And so that was a little weird. Like, it's like, who is this new dude?
And what do they have quotas that they need to fill? In Monsters Inc., at least we know that they need to bottle the screams to run Monstropolis. In this, it's like, what is the point of getting the kids in trouble? It's just for the sake of it, and it's only when they go to scare a tiny baby, who won't remember this, by the way, that Fred Savage is like, this is bad and wrong. And he's like, what do you mean? We're scaring this baby. And he's like, no, you can't scare a baby. And it's like, that should be the mischief that you're allowed to do, because a baby will not remember. There's no
Yeah,
consequences for the baby.
And,
but
and and also the redheaded girl that he likes. That's when things
Yeah.
started. That's when things got too real.
Yeah, things got a little too real when he had Maurice ate her report that she'd been working on for weeks and weeks about photographing a night blooming cactus, which is something that's stuck in my mind. And when she flips the Polaroids and stuff, I'm like, that's such a good science project. She's so smart. I really admired her. And then he destroys her report, and Fred Savage is like, "Oh my gosh!" But also, no one reacts. He acts like he's hungover because he spends all night down in the monster world with Maurice,
and
and so
wearing
he's
dark
wearing
sunglasses.
dark sunglasses the whole next day at elementary school.
Yeah. And the teacher's just like, "Oh, so nice of you to finally join us." Like, they're not worried. They're not looking for the missing child at all. Just,
Yeah,
he can
and
come and go as he pleases.
yep. It's the 1980s. Like they should be in the middle of satanic panic, like immediately looking at this kid with dark sunglasses and being like, "He's under Satan's rule. We gotta get the devil out of him, or something." But they're just like very blasé about it, and the parents don't notice anything's off with him at all. They're so wrapped up in their own shit. They don't care. But you're right. It's not really a commentary on divorce either, because their divorce has no impact whatsoever on the story or either kid. There is a part which is, I think, the peak gross. You tell me if you think this was the peak gross, but the peak gross is where they go to the bully's house and they replace his tuna fish sandwich with cat food. And they piss into his apple juice.
Yeah, that's the.
And it's the foamiest piss that's ever been pissed.
And again, this isn't like fun gross.
No.
It's just gross.
No.
Yeah, we're not having we're not having any fun with this grossness. I'm up for fun gross. I'm up for fun gross.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you are, Nathan, because I was beginning to wonder. Is Nathan up for fun gross? I'm not sure anymore. But he spits it all over the teacher too, and it's like, okay, wow. This is really, you've gone too far. Don't make someone drink your piss. That's just not.
That's rule number 3.
That's rule number 3.
Especially because we haven't had enough evidence of why this bully is so terrible. He's just big and goonish looking, and he got mad that someone threw something at his head. That's really the extent of the bullying that's happened. So, yeah, it hasn't been earned. It hasn't been like, oh yeah, finally this guy's getting what's coming to him. It's just more like he just looks oafish.
Yeah, he's just a bigger kid than everyone else.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Yeah, poor Buzz.
It's a stereotype. Poor Buzz. So they say shit a whole bunch in this movie too, which is like they say shit a lot more in this movie than they do in the Goonies.
Oh, that is so funny that you said that, because I literally was thinking today, I wonder if they say shit more than they do in the Goonies. And like because I was allowed to watch the Goonies, but I was like, I think if Goonies had this many shits in it, my parents would not have let me watch it. So I almost looked up number of shits in Goonies today. All right, sorry.
There's only 2 shits and 1 fuck in Goonies.
There were so many shits in this.
There were so many shits in this. I wrote down all of them. So the other thing that happens, besides them kidnapping the little brother, which comes later, is that Fred Savage starts turning into a monster. So what happens to the monsters when they get exposed to bright light is that they evaporate and turn into clothes. They just become clothes on the ground, which I always had a real kinship for, because that's what it's like to live with my husband Dorian and my son Rocket. They just walk out of their clothes and leave them as if they had just been little monstered. The whole outfit is just laid out on the ground as if they have disappeared and become nothing. So I've always had a kinship for the monsters in this movie disappearing into clothes. But Brian, who is Fred Savage, starts turning into clothes. And so he realizes he's becoming a monster. That's the only time that we really learn about the kids becoming monsters thing. And then they kidnap the little brother to get him. And he immediately has a plan, which is that what we're going to do is I'm going to go get the bully and the cute girl. We're going to strap a bunch of lights to ourselves. and we're gonna go down and just kill as many monsters as it takes until we get the little monster, until we get the little brother. And that's what they do.
They go full Dream Warrior.
They do. They really do. And they take out Boy and Snick. But at first, I have to say, like, one way he does try and outsmart them is that he saws all the legs off the bed, and the mom doesn't react to it at all. She's talking to her friend, and her friend is like, "How's Brian taking it?" And she's like, "Oh, he's fine. He stayed home from school today. He's sawing all the legs off the bed." She thinks nothing of this. But that's very clever of him. But the bad monster Snick gets the little brother Ben Savage by coming out of the couch bed.
Right.
So you got to beware of your couch beds.
That's another thing it doesn't quite make sense. It's like, okay, he saws the legs off the bed so that they're not elevated on the ground anymore. But the ease with which everyone just lifts up to beds to go into the monster world is like, beds don't seem heavy in their world. Like,
yeah, my bed is definitely heavy. You couldn't lift it up with one hand. You couldn't have a 7-year-old in here lifting up the bed. That's a great point. Beds are heavy.
Yeah.
Especially if they're flat on the ground. So they go shine all the lights on Boy. They get attacked by toys. That part's really creepy, where they're getting attacked by the toys and they get dropped into a pit of dolls and stuff. What do you guys think of all that? Did you think it was imaginative, or were you just like over it?
It was kind of like the stuffed animal junk pit in Star Wars. I kind of liked the stuffed animal, like, exile prison. Like, that was kind of fun.
Yeah, that was good.
Visual.
Yeah, I liked it, and it also reminded me of like those like sponge pits that like they would have at gymnastics places when you were a kid. That looked like it would be fun to jump in. But the like when they had the little tanks coming to life and like all the like the toys that were activated and stuff, it reminded me of the movie Toys.
Yeah.
But what does it mean? Does it mean that they, does it mean anything? Like, does it mean that it's like, oh, here's where we put, like, here's where we put the stuff we steal,
That's
like,
what it seemed like.
Like, do they have vaults of stolen stuff? Like, it would have been nice to lean into that more, like kids' favorite toys, things like that.
Yeah, that they stole. That's what it seemed like they were implying in Boy's little warehouse. But so at the end of all the shenanigans, Maurice gets a flamethrower and burns Boy and Snick to death, and then everyone's happy that they're dead. But it seemed like they were doing a good job of running the monster underworld. It seemed like things ran smoothly.
Yeah, it seems like people like their transportation was on time, like the lights were on. It seemed like people were being fed.
Yeah. So
are you really going to find are you going to really find like a totally normal monster to run the place? Like, everyone's going to be a little weird.
Right. You're monsters, and whoever's been down there the longest has got to be the most
yeah, I mean,
right?
So what if he like has a little brain sticking out of the back of his head and he dresses like a pedophile? Like, I mean, you should have seen the guy he was running up against.
He's dressed like the painting Blue Boy, which is, I have a whole bunch of in my house, so I kind of resent that, Nathan. But yes, the infrastructure was working in the monster underworld. They were giving out assignments. Like, it seemed fair.
Who's gonna be doing it now? Maurice?
Yeah, he can't be in charge. He's not politics
it's
material.
It's like putting Jack Sparrow in charge. Like, it's, you might like them the most, but it's not gonna work out. Strangely, so I think so these writers wrote the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. I think
that makes sense to me.
Put that together.
That makes sense to me. I think I liked this movie a lot more than you did. So the very end of the movie, the kids can't get up onto under their beds because the sun has come up in where they live in like Philadelphia or something. So they have to run through the monster underworld to from the East Coast to the West Coast, trying to chase the sun.
And was there? Oh, geez. Again, sorry, I went to the kitchen. Was there a reason why they couldn't just wait a day because they'd get in trouble, or would they permanently turn into monsters if they were there for one full?
If they stayed there for one full night, they would permanently turn into monsters.
Okay, so that's good.
Yeah, they did reveal that. So they run all the way to California, and they come up. The only bed they can come up with to get out from under is a homeless man sleeping on the beach. So they pop out from under a homeless man sleeping on the beach, and they're like, "We did it! We escaped the monster world, and we're not monsters." And Maurice and they have a like tearful goodbye, and he's like, "I won't visit you anymore." And it's like, "Okay, great." And then they call the parents, and they're like, "We're in California." How are they going to explain that they got from Philadelphia to California in one night?
Yeah, I know. And then the end of the movie is just like, it's a long story. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, to me, like, the rest of this story is the wildly fascinating part. Like, how do you get out of this without your parents thinking you're insane, without thinking like an adult kidnapped you and somehow brought you across the country?
A private jet.
Yeah.
Yeah. An adult somehow kidnapped 4 children from their beds.
You took a red eye to Malibu.
Yeah. And the parents don't seem all that like freaked out about it either. They're just like, "You're in California? Oh, okay. Well, that's more mischief. You're going to be grounded again. That's more mischief for you, Brian."
Yeah.
I still really like this movie, you guys. I don't know why you're not responding to it in the same positive way.
I'm glad you're happy.
I am happy. Aside from the grossness, I think it's like a cute, fun, clever idea. It's just not executed very well, and I don't like Fred Savage.
It's just not done well, and I don't like the main character. But otherwise, why don't you guys like it?
I think we all agree.
Yeah. Okay, so on a scale of 1 horn that erupts out of your head because you got exposed to sunlight to 10 horns that erupt out of your head because you got exposed to sunlight, how many horns on the head do you give the movie Little Monsters?
I think I'm gonna go for. I don't know. I don't. I have to go with my gut in comparison to what I've given other movies. I feel like this is a 4 out of 10. I mean, I could be convinced to do a 4.5, but yeah.
Okay. So that means under a 5 for you, Nathan, means there's active hate.
It's true. It's true. I feel like there were fun moments. It was fun for Fred Savage and what's his name? He played the dad.
Howie Mandel.
No, the dad.
Daniel Stern.
Yes, it was fun to see them together because you could say that this is like a metaphoric like dream sequence from like the Wonder Years. Because Daniel Stern played Fred Savage's future self. Anyway, that was the 80s. But yeah, it would just, and I'm glad they were swinging hard. It just couldn't quite, like, honestly, like I couldn't, even if the grossness was still there, even if the lighting, or if they had a little more time to do everything, if it was a little shorter, I just felt like the world building did, and like why this kid, why this story, what's his arc could have been gelled together better.
Yeah, I agree with all those things, but I still think I will rate it higher than you.
Okay.
I think I'll give it 4 and a half horn, like the half horn that Maurice has at the end of the movie.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
It just like I like the idea of having like a world that kids feel like, oh, let's be kids in this world. I like that concept in general. I think it's fun, but I don't think anything that they did in the kid world would have appealed to me even as a child, like as a kid. Had I seen this as a kid, I still would have been
like adding on like Peter Pan on top of it.
Yeah.
It's like yeah, I felt like we didn't get the sense. I didn't get the sense that they were kids having fun in that world.
Yeah, other than the pinball machine and being able to tilt and get free lives, which would have been nice. My parents had a pinball machine when I was growing up, or like we had one in our house, and it was the tilting, that balance of being able to tilt and get the like or not tilts. That was something that I identified with. But other than that, none of that world seemed like a world I would be interested in. Like it was all gross. I'm not like a prankster. It was all dark. It was very dilapidated too.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I think I would have been more like on board if it was like a Technicolor type world, and there was more just like playing.
Yeah, no, there was no color. It was all very black.
A unified theme. Yeah.
Little streamers of color that sort of spun around throughout, but it was very, very dark and dismal. And all of the monsters look like something that Tim Burton's sketchbook rejects.
I mean, I think some of the same designers who worked on Beetlejuice worked on this, you know, and I think the designs of a lot of the guys are really cool, but I feel like they just didn't have enough time to really do it right. I'm sure they would agree too, you know, that they wish they had more time. It looked like they were definitely aiming high with a low budget.
Yeah. Howie Mandel did not like this movie either. He did not enjoy the process of putting on the makeup or sweating it up in the warehouse where they filmed, and he did not enjoy his participation in this movie. So he's with you guys. But I'm going to give this movie 6 horns. Because I do think it has some fun in there. And I think it's fun to show people this movie to see how they react.
Because you hate people.
No, I love people, and I loved you guys, and I thought you would like it more. So I'm sorry. I apologize.
No. I'm glad. I'm definitely glad that I saw it. So don't get me wrong. I'm happy to have seen it. And
I support your happiness.
Yeah. I actually think for me the biggest takeaway from this was Ben Savage. It's like this little kid, he's a freaking great little actor. Like he did such a good job. Like I was very impressed.
I love him in Boy Meets World. That's one of my like favorite childhood shows. Much more so than the Wonder Years. You know?
Yeah.
I was a Boy Meets World girly, not a Wonder Years girly.
So it was like kind of nice. It's one of those things where it's like, oh, it wasn't just nepotism. Like you actually like did a great job. Like you were like a little 6-year-old that actually like seemed genuine. Like you played your role really well. So go Ben Savage.
Ben Savage.
Agreed.
What is your deep cut recommendation for the movie Little Monsters, Nathan?
I feel like I've done this before. So this movie before, I definitely have done this filmmaker before, but I'm gonna go with the animated film Spirited Away.
Oh yes, of course.
Yeah. Well, when you're talking about like the secret world of monsters and little girls, like obviously there's a lot of movies that are not that deep. Like Beetlejuice is the easy one to go to. Like they that's the perfect pairing. But yeah, Spirited Away is just so good and so original and fun and emotional, but just like the secret life of spirits who run a bathhouse, for other spirits. So they're basically like, just running a retreat, But to see our main character, who is a little girl who's a little fussy and needs to grow up and have to go through this journey of becoming strong and learning to stand up for herself and growing up through her experience in this kind of like the secret world. But it's also scarier too, in terms of like these spirits don't care about her at all. But yeah, it's a great movie. It won the Oscar.
It is a great movie. I love Spirited Away. I haven't seen it in years and years and years, and I don't think I've ever shown it to my kids.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, I think I have to do that. Good one, Nathan. You can recommend that as many times as you want.
I'll eventually go through all of Hayao Miyazaki's films at some point and recommend them, depending on the movies we see. So
okay, perfect. What's your deep cut recommendation, Jenna?
Okay, well, this is inspired by Boy's pedophile outfit, as Nathan called it. My first thought was it reminded me of the movie Clifford with Martin Short and Charles Grodin. That's like what Martin Short is dressed like, and Martin Short plays a 10-year-old in that movie who's just like
he's a little like a 40-year-old man. Yeah,
but he's just like a little piece of shit kid in that movie, and he drives Charles Grodin crazy. Granted, I haven't seen this movie in a very long time, so this is not like a hard recommend or anything. But that's what it reminded me of when I saw Boy for the first time. I immediately thought, oh, Clifford. And then
I've never even seen that movie, or I've never even heard of that movie, but it looks bananas.
It is nuts. I actually kind of want to watch it again now and see if my memory of it gels with the actual reality of the movie. But
I have the pictures online seems unhinged.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, perfect.
And I have like a sub recommendation as well, not media related, but I would like to recommend bringing back over the shoulder boulder holder as a way to refer to bras, which I really appreciated Maurice did that in this movie. It's my favorite euphemism for a bra. And they said it in this movie. So I'd like to bring that back.
That's
so I recommend that.
The shoulder boulder holder. They say that in beaches. Yep, I love it. Good catch. Good catch on that one. I didn't catch that. I love it. So I want to recommend, my recommendation's actually not that deep, but it was the movie I kept thinking of throughout this whole thing, which is The Wizard, which we've also covered on this podcast. Especially because they end up in California. And the wizard was basically their journey to California. So that's what it made me think of. So that's my deep cut recommendation for Little Monsters is The Wizard. Not that deep, but a recommendation nonetheless. And I don't think I like Fred Savage very much in The Wizard. I don't think he's a very likable character in that either. I think I like the little brother more in that one too. So turns out I just don't like Fred Savage.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We learned something about me today. Nathan, where can people find your films to support your filmmaking endeavors?
Yeah, so as every episode, squishystudios.com. If you want to check out my short films, web series, or my feature film, The Last Movie Ever Made.
Which you definitely should. Jenna, where can people find you in the real world doing your comedy stylings?
Oh, they can find me at the Neighborhood Comedy Theater in downtown Mesa. Yeah, I'm there most of the time.
It's true. It's true. Yeah. You're an all-star, that's for sure. And you can get dates and details on that on the internet at nctphoenix.com. And for Neighborhood, C for comedy, T for theater, and then Phoenix all spelled out.com. You can find all things Most Excellent 80s Movies podcast and my other podcast, Gank That Drank, a supernatural drinking game podcast, on truestory.fm. Where you can become a member. If you're at the end of this podcast and you're like, boy, I wish I could spend more time with Jenna and Nathan and Krissy, well, guess what? You can just become a member, and you can get our special bonus content, which today is going to be what urban legend or mysterious creature do you secretly believe exists, is the question I have for our panelists today. So scoot on over to truestory.fm and become a member today and support our podcast. We love you. And if you don't feel like doing that, like, rate, review, subscribe, do all the free things that help our podcast, because we really appreciate it, you know. And while you're out there in the world, please keep the most excellent 80s movies podcast motto in mind. Be excellent to each other and party
Party
on,
on,
Pretty
dudes.
dudes.
on.